Good evening, everyone. We will start the reading. First, we will read the synopsis that Samar will read, and then we'll continue the reading, and Alka will read that. Should we start, Rajen? Samar, are you there?
Yes.
Perfect. Start.
Two things happen on the downward arc. One, there is constant drop in vibrations along with degeneration of bodies and thinking instruments. Second, there is
You'll have
degeneration.
to change this in the sense that there is a constant drop in vibrations, and at a certain point, the drop does not continue, and it then continues only through degeneration of bodies and thinking instruments. I don't know if someone is hearing.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. But sir, is it mentioned anywhere? I haven't read in anywhere in PBG that after that there is only drop in vibration and not the degeneration of bodies and thinking instruments.
No, he says, no, that one line he says that because they could not drop further, there had to be degeneration of this thing.
So I think what she's saying is I think both of these are happening in parallel. The drop in vibrations and also degeneration due to acts, thoughts, and motives.
You're not getting the idea. What I'm trying to tell you is that in existence, there's a drop in vibrations, and at certain point, the drop stops, right? Then nature arranges it so that there is a degeneration in body-brain system, and that degeneration is through acts, thoughts, and motives. And only then does there is there continuity of
the involution.
But it is also part of lowering of the vibration. This is also due to the lowering of the vibration.
What?
The degeneration of the body, mind, and senses.
Exactly. From Swahalok, there is a degeneration of body, mind, and senses. Of course, there are no senses in Swahalok, right? There's a degeneration, and that stops at a certain point. That stops.
So I think we need to see this because even I discussed this with Ketav also, but there is not anywhere not mentioned like this. We'll have to check it. If it's mentioned that at certain point it stops.
Okay, go back to that. Go back.
No, I think what we should do is today we can just move on, and then next time we can just
next time,
we will.
Yes.
We'll review it offline, and then we can discuss.
Yes, that will be fine.
No, because then we are interpreting something wrongly.
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Is that she's saying there's a constant drop in vibration.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Along with that, there's degeneration of body.
Yes.
Right? Now, this degeneration is happening since Swahalok. Right?
Yes.
And both these are going parallel.
Yes.
The drop in vibration and the
degeneration. Yes.
Now, at a certain point, the drop in vibration stops. And because of that, there has to be more fast degeneration for the vibrations to continue. Now, I can understand this because this is all according to the law of octaves.
Yes, exactly.
Right. This is but you'll have to go back to that, what he has written. Then I'll point it out to you where he has written it. Right. You see, that brings the whole, you can see the reality in this. Otherwise, if he just said that there is degeneration, and then it's just a monotonous thing. He has not brought about any law except the law that has to go to Nadir. But on his journey to Nadir, at a certain point, there came a gap.
A gap in that increase in vibrations, and that is filled by degeneration.
This gap is filled by nature. The first gap was the desire of the divine fragment to take part in the game. Can you understand? That was so there are two, gaps. So all this is happening according to the law of octaves. Right? So, either you want to go now or I don't mind, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
No, I don't mind anyway. Anyway, you want to go ahead, go ahead. But I don't mind.
Okay. Second, there is degeneration due to acts, thoughts, and motives that are considered dangerous and damaging and recorded in the 3 super micro recording monitors.
So you have to say that there is a, what do you call, there's a parallel degeneration of drop in vibrations, and there's degeneration of the bodies and thinking instruments, right? At a certain point, this stops over there, right? And this is directly proportional to each other. So then nature then intervenes over there and creates such thoughts and acts which allow the body-brain system to react. Because of that, now there's a drop in vibrations. There's a drop in vibration. Right.
However, on the upward arc, the first act existence has agreed to redeem. So existence is bound to increase vibrations at the same rapid and constant rate. Due to this, the substance of the plane of existence, along with bodies, thinking instrument, and senses, will also change from gross to fine to subtle, just as on the downward arc, they all degenerated from subtle to fine to gross.
Right. Now, again, here, there is, what do you call, nature redeems the instruments. Nature does not redeem the thinking, motives, and acts.
Yes.
The psychological part of the body brain system.
The nature does not redeem this thing. So
the substance of the planes of existence, so the substances in which the bodies are made, the substances of which the thinking instruments are made and the senses are made, they are uplifted by nature. But those acts, I think, the next point.
let's go to the next point. Yeah.
The second act, each individual divine fragment agrees to fulfill, that is to redeem all the 3 bodies, thinking instrument, and senses by removing the ill effects of such thoughts, motives, and acts till a stage arrives when the body and thinking instrument will willingly cooperate.
Right. So body and thinking instrument are the machine, right? And each individual divine fragment, then he agrees to remove the ill effects. So the redeeming in thoughts, motives, and acts is individual for each divine fragment.
Yes.
And the redeeming in the body brain system is done by nature.
The planes of existence. Yeah.
It is part of collective consciousness. And that was the part of personal consciousness.
Yeah, it is a part of universal divine mind.
After ages and eternities of tamasic life, crude and brutish, in substages 1, 2, and 3 of Bhu, up and down the arcs, the material of which the present body and mind are fabricated are totally filled with tamasic matter and tamasic qualities.
Right. So, I mean, even the body and brain have been you see, there was no communication with the divine fragment.
Yes.
So they have been redeemed into the sense that there can be communication with the divine fragment, and that is called self-consciousness, right? But the matter is still tamasic in the sense that all the cells are still animal cells of 1, 2, 3, right? They're filled with animalism of 1, 2, 3, and those cells have to be redeemed.
And the habits long cultivated and indulged in of being and thinking, of eating and sleeping, and sex are too deeply ingrained in us.
Right. Now, we have to understand these habits. This is what we call those 4 things in the animal, right?
Ahar, Nindra, Bhai.
Ahar, Nindra, Bhai, and Maithun, right?
We are indoctrinated to a particular way of life and to memory patterns, also crude and brutal, of such daily living.
Yeah.
We must therefore expect resistance from the limitations of the substance of which the body, thinking instrument, and senses are generated. The tremendous inertia.
One minute. Can you go back to that substance?
This one or the?
Yeah, the substance he mentioned first.
Okay, first, yeah,
and then he repeated that substance over here. Can you go back to that?
It was due to this the substance of the planes of existence, along with bodies thinking.
Can you go back?
Go up. Can you go up?
Up,
to that
up,
next one, please?
It is the first act paragraph.
All the way up.
The paragraph of the first act, a little above it.
Yes, this one.
Yeah.
This one. That's it. That's it.
And go down. Okay. Just we'll read this paragraph again. Go up again. Can you go up again? Yeah. Some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Existence has agreed to redeem. So existence is bound to increase vibrations at the same rapid and constant rate.
Yes.
Okay, can you go down? Due to this, the substance of the planes
of existence,
along with the bodies, thinking instruments and senses, will also change from gross to fine to subtle. Just as on the downward arc, they all degenerated, right? From subtle, fine to gross. Okay, now go back to that substance. We must therefore expect resistance from the limitations of the substance. Okay, we'll have to just read the para before this. So just can we read the para before this? It is filled with tamasic matter. Now go ahead. Yeah, now we are something link is coming here. It is filled with tamasic matter and tamasic qualities, and the habits long cultivated in being, thinking, eating, sleeping, sex. We are indoctrinated to a particular way of life in all this, right? And to memory patterns, also crude, brutal of such living, right? We must therefore expect resistance from the limitations of the substance of which the body, thinking instrument, and senses are generated. I'm not getting this exactly. But what I understand from this is that the body-brain system is built of a certain substance.
Yes.
Now that's body-brain system is degenerating on the downward arc.
Yes.
But that degeneration of substance is not happening because of the degeneration of it is happening because of the the whole plane of existence is degenerating.
Yes. Because of a drop in vibrations.
Can you understand? The whole plane of existence is degenerating. Now on the upward arc, the plane of existence are regenerating. But the body-brain system, which is made of that substance, is because it is full of tamasic qualities, is trying to pull down at that time. And man feels this. Man feels this, right? So even if we want to hold our attention for 10 minutes, we feel that, forget it's too much of a strain to hold attention. Let's go watch a movie where you don't have to hold attention. Can you understand? So the tamasic qualities of the body-brain system have not changed. Only the plane of existence has changed. Can you understand what he's trying to say? So the redemption is not done by changing the body-brain system. The redemption is done by changing the planes of existence. Planes of existence. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Now you go ahead. Yeah.
One more way is that if we look at also the Gurdjieff hydrogen table, first, the beings in the higher level of consciousness are made of lighter hydrogens. And as we descend, the hydrogens become grosser and grosser and grosser. Similarly, on the upward arc, the hydrogens will become subtler and subtler and subtler.
Right.
So for example, another example that you've quoted many times is at the lowest level, it might be a stone, right? Which then would become organic life. Then it would become solid matter. Then it would become liquid, then gaseous matter. He's even told the same thing here, right? The planets are dense, a lot more denser in lower substages. They become lighter in higher substages, and they're completely gaseous in even higher substages. So that's the substance of which the planes and all things are made, which are going up and down.
Yeah. So the nature is not redeeming the body-brain system. It is redeeming the substance, the plane of existence.
Yeah, the substance of which it's made.
The plane of existence. But the substance, which is the individual part of the body-brain system, is trying to work against that.
Is the responsibility of the divine fragment.
Divine fragment. Yeah.
So can this also be associated with the structure of being?
Yeah, this is the structure. So I have a body-brain system which is structured in transcendence, but I have a psychological structure which is still structured in fulfilling the gratification of the senses.
Sharmila has a question.
No.
Hi, Pranam Gurudev. So my thought is that the tamasic body, in order to change that substance which is constituting the tamas, is that when we required to do the 3 SRB to change internally despite the layer being regenerative? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, 3SRB now provides us with a platform for transformation.
In ourselves.
Right? In ourselves. Yeah. Now, you see, very simple that the substance is pulling us down, so our breathing is chaotic. Right? And so we will have a degenerative form of breathing which will go with our thoughts and emotions. Right? 100%. By changing the breathing, you're changing the substance.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Gurudev.
Yeah. The tremendous inertia stored in every tissue and cell gathered thus has to be overcome.
Where is this? Yeah. Okay.
The tremendous inertia stored in every tissue and cell gathered thus has to be overcome.
Yes.
It takes time, and even after overcoming once or even many times, it is not over. Time and again, the body and the mind will lapse into their previous grooves, the old lethargic tamasic grooves.
Right. And we must know at what point in time we have to put in extra force. You see, I'll give you a simple example that somebody comes to learn the refining exercises. So he's so, overpowered by the exercises that for 3 months he does them with extra force. Right? Now, actually, for 3 months, he should have done them just slowly, understanding them. Right? And after 3 months comes a plateau where he starts getting bored of them. And that is the time to have the extra force. But he used up all the extra force in the beginning. And then after 3 months, there's no excitement left. Right? And he gives it up as a bad joke. Now he'll go and learn Vipassana or something of that sort. Right? And this is something which goes on all the time. So the tamasic force will keep pulling us down.
So entirely new patterns have to be introduced. The re-education of the individual has to be brought about.
Right. So the animal within us has to be re-educated. The animal within us has to be tamed. And the animal, there is a way of taming the animal. You cannot just force the animal to tame. The animal has to be sometimes given a carrot to eat, and sometimes again you get angry on the animal, again you give it a carrot to eat, and there's a right way of taming the animal within us. But people, once they're excited about the whole thing, they try to rape the animal, right? So people who have not sat at home for 5 minutes in meditation, they'll go for a Vipassana camp where they'll sit for 5 hours in meditation. So instead of taming the animal, they are raping the animal, trying to, and that is why, all these instant meditation practices are terrible, right? And the animal has to be tamed over a long period of time.
And that we can see in the table Tavaria ji has given to increase the 3-step rhythmic breathing and decrease the intake of the food, and decrease the sleep.
Food and 3-step, he has given the whole table there.
Table is very interesting in that.
Okay. Alka, are you there with us?
Yes, very much. I'll start from besides
the divine fragments.
The divine fragment realizes that this task is to be performed by itself, for body, mind, and senses can and will give no cooperation for some time to come. On the contrary, should I read that again?
Can you zoom in a little bit more?
Okay, I'll start again.
Yes.
The divine fragment realizes that this task is to be performed by itself. For body, mind, and senses can and will give no cooperation for some time to come.
The body, mind, and senses are a tamasic force, right? And the divine fragment, from the cry of the divine fragment is the active force. And there must be an understanding in between the active and passive force, right? That is the third force.
On the contrary, they will cling to their old ways and resist with all their force and any attempt by the divine fragment to change their way of life. But the divine fragments are under obligation to redeem body, thinking instrument, and senses to be accomplished first in who.
Yeah. So that can only be done by transforming the thinking, transforming the motives, and transforming the acts.
Thinking in a new way.
Once a communication is established, once a little change in attitude on the part of body, mind, and senses takes place, then they will realize that the divine fragment encased within Ishwar is beyond the Godhead of existence and would then acknowledge it as their transcendental teacher, the Gurudev. Thus, this most difficult task will become easier day after day. But we search for a guru or a teacher outside of us. To find a transcendental teacher, thus, is an impossible task, and any lesser teacher will not do.
Right. So the real teacher is within us, right? And anyone outside who says he is a teacher, then there's something wrong there. He has to say that I'm only teaching you to communicate with your transcendental teacher.
So, relying on the inherent ability and characteristic of the divine fragment to find the way home, the road leading to the journey of return to the source now begins and generates its own momentum.
Yes, it generates its own momentum. It generates its own momentum because it is a journey of many, many lifetimes. And so the work done in this lifetime generates its own momentum in the next lifetime, right? And so that is why even a small effort towards consciousness generates its own momentum.
But the myriad societies of humanities, the inherent inertia of mind, body, senses, and free will is so very developed. Even the planes of existence have an overpowering effect. That especially in the grossest universe move, both on the descending and ascending arcs, in substages 4, 3, 2, 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a little difficult. Can you read this again?
But in the myriad societies of humanities, The inherent inertia of mind, body, senses, and free will is so very developed.
Hmm.
Even the planes of existence have an overpowering effect. That especially in the grossest universe move, both on the descending and ascending arcs in sub-stages 4, 3, 2, 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, this momentum.
This momentum towards return to the source is gathered very, very slowly, insignificantly slowly.
Right. So, two things over here. The inherent inertia of mind, body, senses, and free will. Right? So, on the downward arc, this inertia has just been added onto and it has been developed in the downward arc. Even the planes of existence have an overpowering effect. Right? So, even the planes of existence, that is nature itself, even though nature is redeeming the body-brain system by redeeming the plane, but nature itself does not will man to rise in this thing. Nature itself is a huge passive force, very big passive force, nature.
And because this is 8 eternities,
Hmm.
4 down and 4 upward. So it is a very long period of the inertia of body, mind, and
brain. Yeah.
And
So all
that way it is a very, very great pull.
A great momentum.
Great momentum
Yeah.
of So we cannot see the progress significantly.
And do not jump to the conclusion that as this return journey to the source is to be taken by divine fragments, so it has nothing to do now with body, mind, senses, and the planes of existence.
Right. They have to be repaired first. They have to be repaired first.
We shall take this up. We shall take this up. We shall take up this thread a little later.
I think we did it in Gujarati yesterday. No?
This
The repair of the body-brain system.
That was in the HVM.
HVM, okay, okay, right. Okay.
Our world and our humanity today have emerged from substages 1, 2, 3 of group and are in the very early 4th substage. The body, brain, and senses are just about ready now to catch the promptings and guidance of the divine fragment encased within.
Right. So,
the body, brain,
the body
and
brain
senses
system to the sense that we can
communicate with the divine
we
fragment.
communicate with the divine feminine, or we can feel self-consciousness, we can say, right? But still a lot of this and a lot of what he said earlier is still sort of all mixed up. It's a little mixed up where he says that the planes of existence and the what do you call, right? We'll just go ahead in this. We'll just go ahead in this. But there is definitely, we did it in Gujarati where the thought patterns go over the area where the promptings come, but we are not able to listen to the promptings. Yeah.
But though that stage is itself a very advanced stage, right? Where the promptings will come.
No, the promptings are, they are going on even now also.
But when we can perceive or be conscious of those promptings. Where we can follow those promptings or perceive those promptings, that is a very...
Yeah.
This is the reason for the innumerable package deals offered to guide individuals. But all of them are misleading, for they are prepared by external so-called gurus or teachers.
Right.
We as a humanity could sensibly find our way, but we must keep our resolution sincerely not to be bogged down by the superstition, nor be overwhelmed in the name of religion or by any threat of hell.
Yeah. So, I mean, I used to love these packages, 21-day enlightenment program. At the end of 21 days, you've gone through all 8 eternities down and all 8 eternities up. Right. I used to love these programs. They used to advertise in the papers. In 21 days, we give you enlightenment. I used, I had one person who had come to stay with me for a few days, one Australian guy, and he's telling me that you're not giving me anything. What do you call, what's his name? Some other guru, I forgot. That lady who talks on the Gita, what's her name? Jaya something?
Jaya Rao.
Jaya Rao's father. What's the Jaya Rao's father's name?
Parthasarthi.
Parthasarthi. Okay, Parthasarthi has promised me within 1 week I'll take you into Turiya. I said, you better go to Parthasarthi. If he takes you into Turiya. I think he had an ashram somewhere in Lonavala. I don't know where.
Yeah, somewhere in Pune, between Lonavala and Pune.
Yeah.
It's the Kolwan region.
Huh?
Kolwan.
Yeah.
Kolwan region. It's called the Kolwan region.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Parthasarthi promised me I'll take you to Turiya. Yeah. So all these individual packages are being offered. Yeah.
We have so slavish a mentality that even in our space age, we would still have our high priests, the Aga Khan, the Pope, the Dalai Lama, and an army of lesser high priests.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is a high priest. Yeah. I mean, here we have a beautiful ashram in Madhopur where ordinary disciples are not there. They're all high priests only in the ashram. Ramdulare Bapu used to tell me that he used to, he knew a secret way to go from Badrinath into Tibet. And sometimes he would go for months into Tibet. And then one day we were sitting and we were talking. And so he said that, he says, what are you all talking about? Enlightenment all the time. In Tibet, there are, what do you call, towns and villages where everybody is enlightened. Right? So this, our Madhupur ashram, everybody is enlightened.
All of them are important. The only potent force is...
All of them are impotent. I mean, this is a big sentence to call the Aga Khan, the Pope, and Dalai Lama impotent, right?
The only potent force is the transcendence of the divine fragment.
Right. So it must come from within. It must come from within.
Let it lead, the greatest and best of teachers.
Right.
The existence has gone through these processes of so-called involution and evolution endlessly. We have no concept of a possible beginning or a thinkable end to it. There have been humanities ahead of us and will be behind us, as infinite in number as the cosmic days and nights have been.
Right. So it's very difficult to understand this unless we experience something of Mahakal, the big time, right? And there suddenly where you see the cosmic day and night, so the day of night, Brahma, what they call over there. And we have certain, this thing, what do you call, at least two, that is the Tripura Rahasya and the Yog Vasisht Ramayan, which take us into the mysteries of all this, right? And I remember in the Yog Vasisht, there's this beautiful story of this king, and he comes to an ashram, and the ashram, the guru is sitting in meditation. So he's waiting, for the guru to open his eyes. And the son of the guru comes. And the son of the guru, he says that, do you want to come with me into this mountain which is nearby? There was a mountain nearby. So he says, okay. And So they go into the mountain and they spend 24 hours in the mountain, and they see all the king is thrilled with everything that's going on in the mountain, and he sees such sights that, which he has never seen before. And then they come out of the mountain. And when they come out of the mountain, when they had gone into the mountain, there was a big river, near the mountain. And when they come out, there's no river. The river has changed its course. So the king asks the son that, what has happened? So he said, 14,000 years have passed, right? And the king suddenly starts crying, my wife, my children. He said, what are you talking about, wife and children? So many wives and children have come and gone. It's 14,000 years now, right? And this is where suddenly if we could have a glimpse of from where Mr. Tavaria is talking, from which vantage point he is talking. Suddenly, what we call as 24 hours for him is not even a, what do you call? Fraction of a second for him.
The cosmic time.
That cosmic time.
So it happens that there is a continuous stream pouring forth from creation into existence, and a continuous stream of return to the source, and an endless variety of conditionings till one totally realizes.
Right. What are we doing? You?
Only then does this whole process cease for that particular individual.
So unless we can have an experience of a moment beyond this, what do you call, fourth dimension of time in which we are stuck, and we can go to the fifth dimension of time, it's very difficult to understand all this, what he's saying, right? We must have a glimpse of that time beyond, and suddenly then we'll see, really, this does not mean anything. I mean, this has happened so many endless times. We have come and had a family and had a children, and we are doing the same thing. Right.
Till one totally realizes, he's saying that.
Yeah, that is when we totally realize, but even a glimpse of it. Right.
The one most unfortunate aspect is that under these limitations, we accept as true the substance of existence, the body's, minds, thinking instruments, and senses. But the important part of the divine fragment that is encased within is completely forgotten.
I think Sir has been disconnected.
Yeah.
We have to wait.
Sorry, we had dropped off because of the power outage in Madhapur. We are back now.
Okay.
Alga, can we please start from the one most unfortunate aspect?
Yes. The one most unfortunate aspect is that under these limitations, we accept as true the substance of existence, the body's, minds, thinking instruments, and senses, but the important fact of divine fragment that is encased within is completely forgotten.
That is encased with it.
Yes.
Encased with it. Right. So, I mean, we are, some substances are subtle and some substances are gross, right? So somebody may be very intelligent and somebody may be less intelligent, and somebody may be more beautiful and somebody may be less. But in the end, it is all body, mind, and thinking instrument and senses, right? What is important is the divine fragment inside.
The last 6 eternities, 3, 2, 1 on the downward arc and 1, 2, 3 on the upward arc, have made us thoroughly forget that such a thing as divine fragment does exist.
Yeah. So that is animal existence.
immortal, coming from beyond existence, powerful enough to reduce anything in existence to ashes.
Yes, because he is Paranad, and that Paranad, the vibrations of Paranad can reduce anything to ashes.
That example that you've spoken about once of Kabir,
Yes.
Sant Kabir, and how he died.
Yeah, he created Paranad, and when they went to get his body, there were just two piles of ashes. 2 piles of ashes, right? So they call flowers, but flowers is ashes. Yeah, but I remember Mr. Tavaria, he did not want to meet Didima. So then again, Rakshaben phoned me in Bombay, you arrange it somehow. So I changed his ticket and everything to come to Madhopur. And we arranged it so that he could meet. So actually between both of them, I was sitting at his feet only. So they were talking so softly that I was the only person who was listening to everything. And he initially started, and this game always goes between enlightened people. I'm a little more enlightened than you. So she started this, that, then Tavaria Sahib said, oh, but I'm just an ordinary fool and I don't realize anything. And it is my guru who is sitting on my shoulder who directs me. And I'm a stupid person and this and that and all that. And then they came to talking a bit about the chakras and this and that. And then Tavaria ji suddenly said one statement that if I want, I can sit in Bindu and create Paranad, and at this moment I can reduce my body to ashes. He said, when Didima heard that statement, she half got up from where she was sitting. She was so shocked, right? And later in the afternoon, when Tavariaji was leaving, she came to the car, caught her ears and said, I made a mistake in the way I, behaved with you. But I will never make such a mistake again. Please forgive me. Right? She came to the car. Right? Later on, when we were talking, she's telling me, I have never heard anything like this, that somebody can sit in the Bindu and do this. I have heard 2 other people in my life talk about the Bindu. One was Pandit Gopinath Kaviraj of Banaras Hindu University, who was a disciple of Lakshman Jut, right? And one other, I think Pandit Sitaram Maharaj. I think 2 names she took. But he says, in this way to talk about Bindu, this is the first time I have heard anyone talk about it. And I have never seen such a more fascinating person in yoga as I have seen now. And in my life, I've seen thousands of yogis, she's telling me. So, but this game they always play. Even there was one guru in Thana, I think his name was Dada or something. Dada.
Dada governed.
Dada governed.
Dada governed.
Dada governed, right? And Dada wanted to meet Tavaria ji, right? And so Dada knew me because I had met him a couple of times. And he used to know somebody called Chandrasekhar. I have not met Chandrasekhar in years. And Chandrasekhar had a bungalow in Chembur. And Dada used to go to his house very often. So through Chandrasekhar, he sent me a message that he wants to meet Tavaria ji. So we arranged a meeting at Chandrasekhar's house in Chembur. Now, I took Tavaria ji to Chembur to meet Dada. Again, I was sitting in between them and they were talking, right? And the first thing which Dada sentence he says that I am in years older than you. Yeah, so I mean, these are all subtle ways they talk. My enlightenment is more than yours, right? And then Dada went on of what was enlightenment and how if you're just teaching a breathing system, you're like a technical thing. You're nothing more than an engineer teaching what do you call this thing. And Tavaria was laughing it away, right? And right. So anyway, but I could see that Dada never understood what Tavaria was. He could never understand. Didima understood. But Dada missed it completely, right? And that was another experience which I had. And they talked for nearly 2 hours. 2 hours, and I was sitting over there listening. So and Dada had written that very famous book or something, Beyond the Mind, or I don't know what it was.
Beyond the mind.
Yeah.
Beyond the mind ki beyond intellect.
Huh? Beyond the mind or beyond the, I don't know. Something of that sort he had written.
Bhavya
Bhavya would know. I wouldn't know. Yeah, so
I don't recollect it either.
I think it was Beyond the Mind.
Beyond the mind.
Beyond the Mind. I don't remember.
Achha.
He was a very good photographer. Very, very good photographer. Excellent photographer.
Okay, do we want to stop or should we continue? We have 10 minutes.
Yeah, you finished this paragraph, no?
Okay.
You finished this paragraph. You're not in a hurry to go somewhere.
Okay.
If you have a date this evening or something, I don't know. You go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And when we are unable to know ourselves as divine fragments, how are we to know the other three types of divine fragments? The small, the large, and the immense.
Yeah, so there is one thing very important, which even though he is saying divine fragment, right? But at our level, at least we must understand how much of self-consciousness have we done throughout the day? How much of have we tried to feel ourselves as just a presence in the body, as just a presence using the body, mind, and senses and all that. So that itself is the beginning of the sensitivity towards the divine fragment, right? Self-conscious. Right.
We live unconsciously in this mighty ocean of consciousness. Instead of acknowledging it, we create senseless theories, philosophies, theologies, and so forth, and wail and cry.
We don't acknowledge that we are unconscious. And that is the whole problem. That man has to wake up, but first of all, he has to realize that he's sleeping. Now, if he doesn't accept he's sleeping, then how is he going to wake up? Right? And the very fact that we still get identified with negative emotions, we still are living in reactions, we still harbor grievances, we still complain, we are still finding fault with other people. That very fact shows that we are living in sleep, and we are talking about awakening. So first of all is to realize that we are living in a state of sleep, and we have to get out of that sleep, right? And that realization can only come if we observe our sleep. How will you realize without observing that we are in a state? If I observe how I automatically get angry, if I observe how I automatically react with somebody, if I observe how my self-love says I am better than you, then I realize that I'm hypnotized by this all the time. And I realize, oh, I've been in sleep for such a long time. But if I don't observe that, how will I know that I'm in a state of sleep? So in this mighty ocean of consciousness, we live unconsciously and think we are conscious. And this is the whole riddle is over there, right? That first we have to realize that we are unconscious. Then we can make a journey towards consciousness. Bolo, any questions? We can take some questions. There's still 7 more minutes. Sorry.
Any questions?
Just wanted to check, is the pace of reading fine for you, Rajan, or do I need to go slower?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah.
There's this one more line that is there.
Alka, there is one more line, Keto is saying.
Text somebody will have to share back.
There's the last line of the paragraph.
What is
How
this?
long, dear friends, will you be content with all these?
Yes. How long will you be content with theories, senseless theories, philosophies, theologies, and so forth, and wail and cry? Wail and cry. I mean, if you just the very idea that we are a divine fragment, right? How can we wail and cry? There's nothing to cry about. Right? But then man is a machine, so we have to cry. Right. Okay. Any questions?
If you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question. You can also leave the question on chat.
Next time, can you keep my book open over here so I can write notes in my own book? That
Sure,
is my book?
That's your book. Okay. We're anyways jotting down all these notes in an online copy of the book that you can see it next time.
Even the Gujarati, what we're doing.
Okay, both of them. Any questions?
Rajan sir, hello. I have a question.
Who's this?
Yes.
Shailaja.
Shailaja.
Sir, last time you mentioned about the cheating way, like slay way we can.
Sly way.
Sly way.
Yeah.
Yes. So if is that is equivalent to what Ramana Maharshi always talks about, who am I, kind of? I mean, you said that whatever is happening, it's happening to whom, instead of dividing the attention to the doer and to the.
No, I didn't say instead of dividing the attention. I said that ask the question, who is dividing the attention?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So ask the question, who is dividing the attention? At the moment you go to divide the attention, so there will be three sensitivities. One of attention going out, one of attention going in, and one of the person who is that which is dividing attention inside. Right? And if you can bring these three sensitivities together, you've got it.
Oh, okay. So does it mean that it is crossing the repairing of the body and brain and body system, right?
See, you have to again come down. There are two things. Please understand two things we have to do.
Okay.
Right? One is we make an effort for higher consciousness.
Yes.
And in this effort of higher consciousness, we let go of that which is pulling our consciousness down.
Yes.
Yeah. So many factors are pulling our consciousness down. Now, I want to rise in consciousness. For that, I'm stilling the thoughts. I'm making an effort in dividing attention. I'm doing meditation, doing rhythmic breathing and all that. But what is pulling my consciousness down? Right? So that is my thoughts, emotions, motives. You get it? Those are pulling my consciousness down. They're leading me back into identification. Right? So the work has to be two-pronged. Abhyasa, right? Rising in consciousness, effort, tatra sthito yatna abhyas, the effort to keep on rising in consciousness, and vairagya, dropping that which pulls my consciousness down. Right? So if a negative emotion is pulling my consciousness down, then I drop it. Can you understand? If a certain thought is pulling my consciousness down, then I drop it. That is vairagya. Right?
Yeah.
So the journey is the parallel, what do you call, working of both these. Something which I rise in yoga is abhyas, and leaving that which pulls me out of the state of yoga, where are you?
Good.
Right?
Okay. Understood. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
May I ask a question, Kitav?
Yes,
Gurudev?
please.
Yeah.
So, if we in that layer that is regenerating, okay, the layer of the universe that's regenerating, but we are tamasic in our vibrations and our body, do we not get help from the regenerative layer to help us push ourselves on an upward journey, despite our vibrations being lower? I hope I'm making sense.
Let's try to make this a little clear. The body-brain system by nature has been regenerated to such an effort, such a state, where we can now make the effort towards consciousness, right? So this much is there. After that,
Right?
there is no more regeneration from nature, right?
Right.
Now
Okay.
the only regeneration we can do is to rise in consciousness.
From
Right?
your animal cells, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So nature brings us to a state of where we can practice self-consciousness, but she does not guarantee self-consciousness for us. On the contrary,
So
she guarantees that she will pull us out of a state of self-consciousness.
Okay. So despite she's regenerating and the forces around you externally are regenerative,
Yeah.
she's not going to help us.
She has given us a body-brain system capable of helping us to... You were there yesterday. You were there yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
She's
I was.
given us a body-brain system which can be used as a transformational apparatus. Correct? Right.
Right, 100%.
Right. So now,
Okay.
whether we use it as a transformational apparatus or we use it as a degenerative apparatus is up to us.
Okay.
Right? So if we use it as a transformational apparatus, then we have to rise in consciousness. Right? So the beginning of rising in consciousness is to practice self-consciousness, which Gurdjieff calls as self-remembering.
Okay. Okay.
But Mr.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's saying that you cannot go ahead unless you have gone through the process of redemption. That is because there was a degeneration of thoughts, motives, and feelings and actions on the downward arc. All those have to be, what do you call, redeemed. Otherwise, they will keep pulling you down. So you may make an effort and you may even get a glimpse in meditation. And you may not get a glimpse from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you get a glimpse. And then Thursday, you get very angry on somebody and all that glimpse is pulled down.
So sad.
Right? So he's saying before you get that glimpse, first, what are you doing about redeeming that anger, which has taken you down into Nadir, which Gurdjieff calls as non-expression of negative emotions.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to understand the science of negative emotions, where these negative emotions come from, what is the science of reaction, why we are compelled to react, and every time we react, how we fall into lower consciousness. This whole thing we have to open up in front of us and then make an effort to redeem that. And once we are there, then there is help. Can you understand? The help which you're talking about. But if you don't want to clean your body-brain system, you don't want to repair it, you don't want to put it in order, and you just want to ask for help. Right? Then,
thank you.
Then that help is, and even if it comes, it may come in some other form. Okay. Can I give you one example over here, which I've given this example many times, but I'll repeat the example. There was one movie called Mughal Azam. I don't know if you saw the movie. And in that, what's the actor? Madhubala. And there's that song. Which song is that?
Bekas pe karam
Bekas pe karam kijiye, Sarkar-e Madina. There's that song बेकस पे करम कीजिए सरकार है Madina. I forgotten the words, right? Now,
Faryad hai.
she starts with complaining. Faryad hai, dunya meri barbad hai. She starts with complaining. Now, I mean, just if you're complaining and crying, it doesn't matter. But how you're complaining and crying sometimes makes a big difference. Now, that whole song was arranged by this music director called Naushad, right? And Naushad arranged it in a, what do you call, the Muslims have a form of asking for help, which they call as Naat. They call as Naat, Naat, Naat. Now, in the Hindu parampara, you can only get help if you deserve the help. So the Hindu parampara says that you have to make yourself available for help, then only help will come, because then you're deserving for help. Whilst in the Muslim parampara, you can ask for help even if you're not deserving of help, and that technique for asking for help is called Naat, right? And so he arranged the music. If you see in that song, the music goes round and round and round. It is as if it is churning your mind, your body, brain system in this thing, right? So she's asking for help, that bring me out of this state of depression in which I am. She's talking Sarkar-e-Madina. She's asking the, what do you call, Allah for that help, that you bring me out of this state of, what do you call, and it so happened that there were 81 takes of this thing, what do you call, that song. So 81 times she was repeating in that Naat parampara, that Naat rhythm, the same thing. You know, that, oh God, please help me. Oh God, please help me. I am complaining. I am complaining. And she was repeating that 81 times. So 81 times it went on for 18 hours continuously. Right? We don't do any what do you call, mantra jap for 18 hours continuously. And she did this for 18 hours continuously. And within God answered her prayer, but she didn't help her to come out of the depression. He gave her death. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? So they have a technique of asking, and that whole song is in that one technique of asking from God, where you can ask from Allah for help, and through that rhythmic movement of that technique, that reaches beyond, and help comes from there. But that help came in the form of, you want to be free of depression? I'm giving you, what do you call, disease and death. And she got, immediately after that, she fell ill, and she never got out of her illness out of that. So what I'm trying to say is that there is this technique which it can be done. We can ask for help, but rather than asking for help, it is, we should, what do you call, bring our body brain system where we deserve help, right? And if we can create where we are deserving of help, then help has to come, right? Right? If we are in a state where we really need somebody to take our hand and take us ahead, then it has to come, right? Then we don't have to ask, we don't have to look for a guru, we don't have to look for a teacher, right? But our inner state itself will make the teacher come to us, right? So this is possible. It depends on what you call help. So, but help is also possible even if you're not deserving of help. But sometimes that can give you something. It can come in the wrong way completely.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you are able to answer, I mean. Okay,
Yeah.
so there is a confusion in my mind. What about a situation when a person or a situation is trying to overpowering you, trying to put you in a corner, and the work says that you chew the impulse, don't say anything, then from that the suppression comes in because you feel the pain inside. But there is also a thought that you have spoken in some of your lectures that you top it up, top that thing up.
That is one of the techniques.
One of the techniques. What should we do? Should we top it up, or should we just chew it and let it be?
So when I consciously make a decision not to react with you, right? It is not what you call mechanical suppression. If you are my boss and I cannot react with you, it is mechanical suppression. Right? But I make a conscious decision that I don't want to react. There is some little bit of suppression, but it is not mechanical suppression.
Intentional.
It is intentional what do you call? Can you understand?
Yes.
Right? So that is the first point. The second point is that we all play the game of life. So between you and me, I may have to tell you something. Right? But I can say it without reaction. Now, supposing even if I have to say it without reaction, can I bring about the reaction as a conscious play? And the third, the most important, which I have always followed. I have never played the game of reaction, never played the game of what do you call, is that there is always an intelligent way which does not need negativity or reaction. And I've always followed that. But that does not mean you have to follow that. The first thing is you bring consciousness. Second thing is I don't want to identify and react. And when you're in a state of non-reaction, non-reactive state, now how do I play the game of life properly? Now, does this situation demand a little anger? Does this situation demand a little aggressiveness? Then go ahead with it.
Okay.
Right?
Because I become aware when I'm doing this thing, when I'm showing the anger or showing the indifference. That is okay. But I'm aware that I'm doing this.
Yeah, in my personal practice, I have not even, and this is Mr. Tavaria ji says this. Yeah. કે મેં તમને ગુસ્સો કરવાનો ના પાડી છે, ગુસ્સાની એક્ટિંગ કરવાની ના નથી પાડી. You understand? I don't know if you understand the Gujarati.
Understood.
Right? This is Tavaria ji's statement. Right?
Yeah.
But I as his disciples say that even ગુસ્સાની એક્ટિંગ કરવાની એ જરૂર નથી. There is always an intelligent way out. But this is this thing. Addition to his statement.
But little suppression where it pains you within you, it's fine.
Just
remember
that suppression when you're doing the tense and relax in the morning, it will all go away.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll stop over here. Yeah. Oh, this one.
Shailendra Pandit. Shailendra, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah. Rajan bhai, we have been talking about redeeming, but since we don't know what went through during involution, what were misdeeds, how do we voluntarily go through redeeming process? Is there a way that we should follow for redeeming, or do we get some guidance?
I mean, it's very obvious, Shailendra.
Yeah.
It's very obvious, right? Everything which is taking me down towards Nadir, I go back to that, right?
Yes.
Can you understand?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about this so often. Now, supposing I react with you, right? Now, where has that reaction come to throw me down to 3, 2, 1? Now, if I pause that reaction and go reverse, then I'm redeeming the reaction.
Okay.
So we will put at the lowest platform all the negative emotions.
Okay. Okay.
All the negative emotions were created for me to go to 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So we should be conscious of at that moment.
So body brain system has come to beginning of 4. Now redeem all that which took you from 3 to 1, which took you down, redeem it and bring it to 4 again.
Okay.
Right? And we start with negative emotions.
Yes. Okay.
We start with negative emotions, all reactions.
Okay. So that is the, you have to constrain yourself with at the time of negative emotions. Right. Avoid negative reactions.
Negative emotions, reactions, habits. And when habits and patterns, habits are caused by patterns of negative emotions, then conscious habits come in those places. And when conscious habits come in those places, then the final step will be non-use of the powers which come in the place of the conscious habits, with the conscious habits. Right?
Okay. Got it.
Sir, can I
Okay,
ask a small question?
Yeah, please do, please do.
Sir, is disease regeneration or degeneration?
No, I don't understand.
Disease. Disease, we can say disease is a form of regeneration or degeneration.
Disease is a form of degeneration in the body-brain system. If I take the disease with the right attitude, I can use that degeneration in the body-brain system as regeneration of my thoughts, emotions, and this thing. It is how I take the disease. If there is a parallel process of degeneration in body-brain system with degeneration in I get depression with the disease, then both have fallen together.
As per the intensity chart, it is like, if we collect so much of negative intensity, then it comes out in the form of disease. So when it comes out in the form of disease, so is the negative intensity pattern lost or is it still there? My actual point was this.
It is expressed.
It is
expressed. So it's
Ah.
expressed. So it is, it's still there in my memory pattern, or is it lost when it comes out as a disease?
No. It becomes stronger.
More strong.
Okay.
Now the disease is a chance for you to repair it.
Okay.
The disease is a chance.
So it is diseases in any case degeneration only. It cannot
It is
ever be
degeneration
only
of
the
body-brain
attitude.
system.
Yeah, it is only the
As
attitude
a
at that time.
resultant of a certain thought pattern.
Right.
A certain, like yesterday we talked about eddy currents, a certain thought pattern
Right.
is creating an eddy. I keep on repeating, right? I want to take revenge upon you. Now that thought keeps on repeating within me. Then I say, oh, I have to now take omes and I got acidity, right? But where it has come from, it has shown itself in the body due to something somewhere else. That is what he's telling us in the intensity charts.
Yes. Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Rajan, why do they say in the Gurdjieff practice that somebody is made negative to a boiling point of 100 and then the machine the tail brain and the machine wakes up?
That is those. You see, better ask the question first. Yeah.
Why don't you just ask the question a little more loudly so that people can
hear? So the question is, in the Gurdjieff system, they say that sadhak is made negative to a boiling point of 100. So it's given friction. So when they are given friction to a boiling point of 100, the machine by default in intensity wakes up. Is that true?
Why should the machine wake up?
But I don't know, I'm asking you.
The machine comes into the present moment when you are 100% in negativity. So if you're an explosive anger, the machine and at that moment, if you bring in consciousness, then the machine becomes a transformational apparatus. Right? So at that moment, if you can separate your attention from the machine, right? So the machine has automatically come into the waking state, right? And Ramdulare Bapu was an expert in creating these situations. Yeah. I don't want to go into that today.
He did that with you?
I do it for 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next week we meet again.
Thank you.